I'm breaking out, I'm breaking in. I just can't help this state I'm in. I'm on my way, y'all. So put your shades on, this light's so bright, it's blinding. I'm radiating love, I'm radiating love, I'm radiating love. I'm breaking free, I'm breaking ground. I can't explain this thing I found. The clouds have moved on, I got my groove on. This pep in my steps infectious. I'm radiating love, I'm radiating love, I'm radiating love. I've been stuck in a rut, I've been shit out of luck. I've been wondering what is up with me, and then I realized it's up to me to decide. I can just be radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love.
You are an irresistible magnet with the power to attract unto yourself absolutely anything and everything you desire. Welcome. Welcome and good morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome to our Sunday celebration here at the New Thought Spiritual Center. I'm Reverend Jay Willick. I'm the senior minister and the spiritual leader here at NTSC. And we are so happy that you have come to radiate your love with us this morning, this Sunday morning. It's a little cloudy here in the West Coast, but we're enjoying actually a lovely Sunday morning, and we're glad that you brought your consciousness here with us. So the first thing we want to get out of the way, the first thing we want to do, the first thing we want to bring forth is who we are, why we're here. I know we get some new people here every week, and I want to make sure you know and understand what the New Thought Spiritual Center is all about. So I got a little quick video for you to watch. Here we go. This year, we're working on awakening. That is our theme for the year. And for April, I was going to say Monday for some reason. And for April, our theme is declutter. We want to declutter things that are in our way, that's in our lives right now. And this month, we're also highlighting our purpose statement, and that is to reveal the divinity in you. And it's such a fabulous thing when you reveal the divinity in you. Things around you start to declutter, because that which doesn't really matter, that which doesn't do this for you in your life, seems to just kind of go away. And that's the wonderful thing with staying on purpose. And that is our highlight of this month, is to reveal the divinity in you. So I want to go into a spiritual mind treatment right now, and that's an affirmative prayer, a prayer that where we affirm, where we reveal the divinity in us and allow that revelation to purposefully join us in our lives. So if you would take a deep breath with me right now, let it out through your mouth. You can close your eyes if you want, you don't have to. Take another deep breath. And know with me right here and now, there is one mind. You can call that mind what you want: God, the divine, spirit, the power and the presence, intelligence. But that mind is everywhere. It creates everything. And the most fabulous thing about it is that mind is our mind, my mind, your mind. That mind empowers each and every one of us. That mind inspires each and every one of us. That mind brings forth into each and every one of us exactly what we require in our lives. And how does it do that? Through our intention, through our purpose, through our decisions, declarations, and revelations. So it is at this moment, as we are at the beginning of our celebration today, that we radiate this love. We radiate this love of the divine that brings forth into our lives the ideas, the actions, the inspirations, the wisdom that we require to move forth into our most successful experiences, our most prosperous experiences in creativity, at work, at home, in our love life, in all of our relationships, in our body temple. We bring forth the wisdom, the knowledge, the actions, the ideas, the inspirations revealed to us, through us, and as us. We are of the divine. And in appreciation of this, in gratitude of this wisdom flowing through us, this love surrounding us, I release this word, and together we say, and so it is. Now, as we're in this moment, as we have sanctified these words, these powerful words, which will bring forth into our lives immediately. It is happening immediately, right here, right now. Let us step into a sacred moment, a sacred space. Bring forth into our place, into our space, right now, right where you are, the sanctity and the sacredness of the divine. Let's do that right now. And so we ring the bell of sacredness. Watch. At this time, we enter into our sacred space, opening our heart and mind to awaken the highest and deepest part of our divine selves. We plant the seeds of our greatest adventure, nurturing them with water of faith and the soil of spirit. Calling in wisdom from ancient times to quantum science, we now transcend time and space into the grace, love, and power of the universe. So take a deep breath once again with me. Through your nose, hold it. 3, 2, 1. Let it out slowly through your mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're getting into a 5-second inhale. 3, 4, 5. Holding it for 3, 2, 1. Slowly releasing through our mouths. 4, 3, 2, One more time. And release. If you would, put your feet on the floor, or maybe sit cross-legged if you'd like. We want to now ground ourselves, center ourselves using the power and presence of the Mother Gaia, the planet Earth. To do so, we allow the energy from the bottom of our spine, at the base of our spine. Let us imagine a rope, a string, a lightning bolt, anything you want, to drop down past our body, past the chair or the floor which we are upon, past the ground upon which your home is upon, the rock, the dirt, all the way down, down, down to the center of the earth, connecting the power of our body to the power of our planet, and then allowing this energy to flow up from center of this planet, up to the bottom of our feet, through all the rock and the ground, the building, and feel the vibration of this energy of the Mother Gaia travel up past our ankles, our calves, bringing energy and vibration to our knees, up through our thighs, back around to the base of our spine, allowing this energy to rotate, to circulate, to resolve and revolve from planet to person, from person to planet. Feel that energy, that vibration, that presence. And now allow from all around us, from above, sides, everywhere possible, the energy of the cosmos, the energy of the divine universe, coming into us like the rays of the sun, dropping down, down, this energy, this illumination, this vibration, this vitality from the universe, from the Big Bang, vibrating within us, flowing down from the top of our heads, past our face, the neck, our shoulders out, down our arms, past our fingers. This energy flows down past our hearts, glowing, glowing, our ever vibrating body, revealing the divine that is within, igniting, turning on, flashing, that beautiful energy, that luminous light. If you haven't already, go ahead and close your eyes, though you don't have to. You can watch the moving mandala. As you continue your slow breathing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'd like to read to you from the Radiance Sutras, translated by Lauren Roche. This is from chapter 81. Drop the thought, I am this body. Drop the thought, I am this body. Abandon the limitation, I am only here in this specific place and time. Embrace instead, I am not my body. I am not this place. I am not this time. There is no place. There is no time. Realize I am everywhere. I am everywhere. Sustained by infinite bliss. Drop the thought, I am this body. Abandon the limitation, I am only here in this specific place and time. Embrace instead, I am not my body. I am not this place. I am not this time. There is no place. There is no time. Realize, envision, reveal. I am everywhere, sustained by infinite bliss. I am everywhere, sustained by infinite bliss. Allowing these words to vibrate within us. Let us take a deep breath together and release through our mouths. At this time, begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Slowly open your eyes, return to the sacred moment. You are everywhere. The power of you is everywhere. And we can purposefully and intentionally grasp on to that idea and live that idea. I'm going to talk about that a little later. But first, I want to bring you some wisdom and inspiration from practitioner Caressa McElhaney, who is with us this morning. And there she is, live from Apperheny Hall. And welcome and thank you for joining us. And she's going to bring some words of wisdom as well as our affirmative incantation for this week for you to wake up in the morning with and be the final thing you think of before you go to sleep all during this week.
Thank you, Reverend Jay. Okay, well, New Thought Spiritual Center's theme for the month, perhaps in honor of spring and the associated cleaning that usually goes with that, is decluttering. Decluttering is the goal that many of us have, usually for our homes. It's a never-ending aspiration for some. I mean, let's face it, there's always something to accomplish. We might even call in someone who specializes in this skill to help us at times. I'm going to move something. Because it's such a daunting task. But perhaps even more important is the task or the mission, or perhaps we could look at it as an opportunity of decluttering our minds. The best way to do this is by practicing mindfulness. Now, many of you have heard this term, I'm sure, but to really grasp what it means is something that takes practice and commitment. I mean, it's actually quite simple, so simple that we might discount its value. It's the practice of focusing on what we're doing at the moment we are doing it, being aware of our body, our breath, what we're thinking about, and staying in the present moment. The famous example of washing the dishes to wash the dishes instead of washing the dishes to get done so you can do something else comes to mind. Now, this is an example of mindfulness that Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist monk, wrote in a letter to his students, which became the classic book, The Miracle of Mindfulness. He means that by focusing on the future instead of on what you're doing, you're not actually living while you're doing that task. Many of us are so overloaded with thoughts of our to-do list, all the things we want to accomplish, the problems we're trying to solve, or the situations we are trying to understand or that need attention, that we aren't really living in the moment, appreciating what we're doing right now. Now, this is not a particularly healthy, or for that matter, productive way to live. And of course, it's easier said than done when you're used to operating this way. But step by step, it can be accomplished. Thich Nhat Hanh says, mindfulness is the miracle by which we master and restore ourselves. Consider, for example, a magician who cuts his body into many parts and places each part in a different region. Hands in the south, arms in the east, legs in the north, and then, by some miraculous power, lets forth a cry which reassembles whole every part of his body. Mindfulness is like that. It is the miracle which can call back in a flash our dispersed mind and restore it to wholeness so that we can live each minute of life. So by being aware of your breath and what you're doing in the moment, you begin to train your mind to be calm and aware. You begin to make decisions based on the here and now, and not what your worried brain is conjuring up as fantasies of the future. By appreciating and being in the present moment, you will find the joy, the peace of the everyday things that you do, the conversations you have, the marvelous functioning of your body, the beauty of the world that you walk through. I urge you to read The Miracle of Mindfulness if this awareness sounds appealing to you. So I'd like to go ahead and read Reverend Jay's Affirmative Incantation. As he mentioned, this is something he writes every week, and it's wonderful for you to have to review and just go over every morning, every night, however often you want. So you can read it with me. It should be up on the screen, or just listen as I read it. Since I am free to choose and create every experience of my life, I now awaken the power to stand on my own, no matter what. I bravely step into any wilderness, knowing I am supported by the universe, directed by divine wisdom, and enveloped in the hands of grace. My heart is profoundly marked by the wild, and I love that I am bold, brave, and ready to succeed. I think only of all the great things that will happen on this road. As I lay out my blueprint, I vibrate energetically to things are going perfectly where they need to go for me to be abundantly prosperous. I have changed my standard to excellence. Excellence is my watchword in the kindness and respect around me and the creativity and health in me. The power of my word is clear, which makes only good manifest. It is done right here, right now. Fantastic. Okay, so let's close our eyes if you feel so inclined and know this truth together. I know that each one of us is present in this very moment, right here, right now, and that we use our minds to create the lives that we want. We create our abundance. We create our prosperity, our good health, the love that we feel for others, and that it comes to us. I know that by using our minds in this powerful way that we have been given this right, this God-given right to do, that our birthright, that we manifest exactly as we desire, as we dream, and as we put our word into. So I put my word into this moment, this very moment, knowing the truth that I want to know for myself and for others, which is that we are powerful beings. We choose the lives we desire to live. And by putting all of our faith and our belief behind those choices, we manifest the lives we want. I know that for each and every person here, I know that each one is creating vibrant, wonderful health, happiness, love, creativity, joy, abundance. I'm so grateful for this knowledge that my word has power. And I simply release it, knowing that the law takes it from here. It is all handled. It is done. So I let it go. And with that, we can all say together, and so it is.
It is. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Perfect preamble for what I'm talking about in a few minutes. But first, they're going to switch some things around there in Apperheny Hall and Apperheny Gardens, I believe, is where we're hosting our music this morning. As many of you know, pretty much every month for the last year or so, Steve Apperson has been writing a song every month having to do with the theme that I had chosen for that month, sometimes having to do with the talk that I'm going to talk about during the week that he'll be performing. And so this week, he has written a new song called Clarity. There he is, my friends, Steve Apperson.
Thank you, Jay. This is the 11th song, all right, for our church, all right? And it may have very well been 11 years ago on this very day, I may have found the key to life. Lock, stock, and barreled in a grinding routine, a little out of sorts while I mind the machine. Caught up in the crush of the commotional scene. I'm open and endless if you know what I mean. There's too much all around me that has to get done. There's this and that, be here and there, don't forget none. Gotta keep it real though it feels like a ton. Stay in the moment though your mind's overspun. It takes clarity Get me sorted out. This where in me is feeding some self-doubt. There are times I let things get in the way of living out the wonderment I crave each given day. All I want is the best of me to stay with you, 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 you. Clarity, give me the brightest view. I am who I is, that's why I'm happy and sure. Though there are times I might get a bit insecure. I need your arms around me so I feel the cure to overcome my hesitance I sometimes endure. 'Cause I know how it feels to hurt deep inside. I've been twice around the corner, so I realize you gotta be yourself to get a fabulous ride. And there's always one thing that can raise your upside. Clarity, give me the highest truth. Share with me, help me, guide me through. Too many circles spinning round inside my mind. Gotta square them up within a fragment of time, or ding them with an order that I package inside for you, 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 you. Clarity, give me the brightest view. Saxophone. There's no mystery why I always want you here. You have a way of undermining all my fears. The best of life is that you always make it clear. And no, 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 no. Clarity, bear with me, because I need you. Yeah! Happy 11th!
Happy 11th. Thank you, Steve, so much. The 11th is a very important day each month for Steve and Caressa, and so we're actually extra privileged that they joined us this Sunday on an 11th. Clarity. I loved Carol Merrill sort of going through there with signs, and what song is complete without a kazoo? Thank you so much, Steve and Caressa. So this morning I have a few questions I want to start with. First of all, I want to ask you, do you get a thrill when you look at a long page full of activities and tasks that you plan to accomplish? And if so, are they categorized, color-coded with little boxes next to them so that you can check them off once you're done with them, or maybe highlight them or just cross them off when you complete them? And at the end of a productive day, do you smile at your accomplished long list, seeing it as a trophy or a badge of honor, perhaps, knowing you had done well that day? You got through your to-do list. How long do we spend each day or each evening? Maybe it's one of the last things you do at the end of your work day or at the end of your day, taking the time to make this list. And it may be a list you may not complete, but you have this long list of tasks. And if you don't get through it, is there some sort of rollover that you've decided is okay, like your cell service? And if you don't get to the bottom of that list that day, do you feel a little bit of depression? Do you feel like you haven't been successful? That would not be a fun day, to end your day feeling you weren't that successful. Well, I'm here to advise you to throw away your to-do lists. I know, it's a time management thing, and I get it. You want to make sure things get done that you might forget, in the hustle and bustle of getting things accomplished each day. And I also understand the intention to have productivity. Having a list is a productive thing, making sure tasks don't get lost in the shuffle there. However, lists and deadlines can also be potent procrastination tools, and sometimes they act as an addiction. We get addicted to these lists of tasks we have to do. A gentleman named Ralph Ryback wrote in Psychology Today, and he said, the satisfaction of ticking off a small task is linked with a flood of dopamine. Each time your brain gets a whiff of this rewarding neurotransmitter, it will want you to repeat the associated behavior. It will want you to repeat the associated behavior every day, over and over, like a sugar addiction, an almost never-ending merry-go-round of ups and downs and moods, a cycle of reward and emptiness, need and emptiness and reward, and round, over and over and over again. And too many times, especially at work, we start craving another feel-good moment. Our brains are often encouraging us to complete even a low-level task of something before we do something that really matters, just to get that dopamine. Well, I'll do this. I'll get this off my list. Oh, something off my list. Yeah, I love that feeling. Check mark, the crossing off. It's a false sense of joy and satisfaction. And too often it's us just avoiding the projects that may be a little more difficult, maybe will take a little more time, but are too often the true game changers in our lives and in our work days and our regular at-home lives. And I have Post-it notes in my computer, on my computer, and hard copies on my desk or on my monitor. And yes, I do get a thrill in their completion. I get a thrill when I delete it from my computer screen. I have a little Post-it app there, and I get a thrill taking that. Here's one now. Taking that, crumbling it up, and tossing it into the trash can. I get it. I totally get it. There's a gentleman named Muir Eel. He's a behavior design and productivity expert. He wrote, it's not that keeping a list of things that you need to get done is a bad idea. It's the fact that people run their days on their to-do lists. That's what's very harmful. Let me repeat that. It's the fact that people run their days on their to-do lists. That's what's very harmful. Experiencing flow in your day-to-day work. You ever get into that flow? No matter what the particular day is like, you get into that flow. That's what is the integral component of creativity and mental and physical health. That flow when you're in a special project, when you're in when you're so focused and you're surrendering in that moment everything else around you. Usually that's when that happens. When we're in that flow, when we're in that focus, we usually boost innovation, we usually boost the meaning and the engagement and the productivity. It's not about the task necessarily, it's about the intention. So as we declutter this month, I want to encourage something more important than doing, and that is being. Getting into the flow of our highest state of mind, beginning our day, not with lists, but with listening. Beginning our day at home, at work, both, not with lists, but with listening. In the blog, The Blissful Mind, Catherine Beard ends her article on how to organize and declutter your to-do list with this recap. And she says, when it comes to your never-ending to-do list, stick with 3 principles. Get it out of your head, let go of shoulds, and prioritize mindfully. And then in another article by PhD Christy Hegstad, who is a member of the Forbes Coaches Council, she agrees in this article called The Productive Power of Your Daily Type 3, she agrees with the idea of prioritize. So what are you prioritizing? Are you prioritizing that list, the Post-it notes, the various things I have to do? Or are you prioritizing who you are, what my intention is, what my purpose is in life, as well as today on this day? Getting out of our heads is probably the best priority in order to get things done, the best priority to be able to be in a zone of manifesting our best experiences and getting into the flow of successful living. In general, if we're not there in general, we're not going to be there in the specified time, the specified task. When we prioritize focusing on the now, distractions are minimized and flow is optimized. I want to read you a little story that comes from the Mahabharata. And this is a story about the master Dronacharya, and he teaches archery as well as many other things, but this particular day he was teaching archery to his many students. The story goes like this. Dronacharya hung a wooden crow that he carved out of wood, on a tree branch. And then he summoned all his students to come. And he told the students that they were to take their arrow, hit the arrow in the crow's eyes, okay, into the wooden crow's eyes. And so then he lined them up. He lined them up and told them that they must answer a question first before they start firing. So first, his student Duryodhana took up his stance and got ready and pulled back the bow, and teacher said, so what can you see? And the student says, I see the bird, I see the garden, I see the tree, the flowers, everything. And the teacher told him to put his bow down and step aside. He did so. And the next student, Yudhishthira, stepped up. And his answers, he pulled his bow back and he was ready. And teacher asked him the same question, and his answers were similar. I see the air and the leaves blowing in the wind. And Dronacharya told the student that he too must put his bow down and go back into his place in line. On and on, the master teacher asked the same question to the other students, most giving the same or similar answers as the first two. And some added a little bit. They could see the teacher, they could see their cousins and people standing around. And once they gave those answers, none were allowed to continue. They were told to put their bows down and go back to their place without being allowed to shoot. Even Dronacharya's son, who was part of the class, could not understand what his father wanted. Finally, Arjuna was the lonely one left, the last student in line. He stepped up, and Dronacharya asked Arjuna to come up and take his stance. And Arjuna picked up his bow and he pulled back. He set the arrow, he drew the string, and his teacher asked Arjuna, what do you see? And Arjuna replied, the eye of the bird. Can you see the tree? Asked the master teacher. No, only the eye of the bird, was the answer that Arjuna said. Well, do you see the tree, the bark, the leaves, the flowers, the fruits? Brothers, cousins? Do you see me? No, 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 answered Arjuna. I can only see the eye of the bird. And with a smile, the Guru Dronacharya gave him the order, then release your bow. And Arjuna released the arrow, and it sped straight to the target, and the wooden bird came tumbling down. Dronacharya embraced the boy and then turned to the others and said, when you want to achieve something, you must focus on it. Close out all distractions and concentrate only on your target. What is your target? Is it the things on the list or the list itself? Or is it what the list somehow represents? That you're not successful unless you get through this list, that you're not accomplished unless you get through this list. In order to declutter a life of doing, we must focus on being who we are. What is our purpose? What is our intention? Are we revealing the divinity within us? Is that where our focus is? Not the machinations going on in our head, but the combination of the divine matrix, the heart and the gut. Are we listening to the influence and the intuition coming from our gut? Come up with this idea called DCCAR, D-C-C-A-R, D. Decide what your priorities are, the priorities of your heart and soul, not your mind's goals or lists. Not that those are bad. Not that those are bad. But we want to start with our heart full, with our gut and our eyes and ears open to the inspiration from the divine. C, calm your mind down. Shut that brain up. Sometimes we just have to shut it up. Teach it how to follow instead of lead. I know that seems odd. Well, wait a minute. I should lead by my intelligence, my mind. When you put the divine matrix into play, which does also include your mind, we teach it to follow. We teach our brains to follow the lead of our hearts and our intuition. Not that we get sucked into just feelings only. We don't want that. We want the combination, but we don't want the brain to run everything. Connect, see, connect with, listen to, and trust your higher self. That's what all this is about. I'm not talking about not using your brain or not using your intelligence. I'm talking about listening to and trusting your higher self. Sometimes when we listen to our brain only, we get into ego stuff that will be depressing if I don't get this list done. Ego stuff that this list equates my success in life, my success for today. Your success for today depends on this. Revealing the divinity in you, living that, being that, knowing that, starting there. Starting there. When you start with your higher self, when you listen through your higher self, all this stuff becomes easy. A, act on the guidance from your higher self. Act on the guidance when you are listening in the quiet moments in the morning before you start really getting going for the day. And R, relax. Relax and allow what you desire to come to you, to reveal itself. And I can hear you saying, yeah, but I already know what I want to declare. I already know. I do it in my prayers. I do it in my affirmations. I already know. Then why is it here? Why isn't it here? It isn't here because your clarity is not sufficient. And your clarity comes from revealing the divine, not from the machinations of the brain. Oh, it's part of it because it is part of the divine matrix. But when we open ourselves up, when we awaken to the divine and to the inspiration of the universe of infinite possibilities, then we start to declutter the junk, the old stories, the ego stuff, egoistic stuff. You got to entertain God only, not edge God out. When we begin our day focused on intention and purpose rather than tasks and lists, we get ourselves in the flow of being rather than doing. The doing becomes easier when we are being who we are, when we come from the being. Socrates said, "To be is to do." You have to be before you do. Being is what we want to focus, where we want to focus ourselves, where we want our focus to lie, to be, so that the doing is like the bird in the tree. It's easily accomplished because it's what's in our sights. In the 47th chapter of the Tao Te Ching, it teaches this: without going out the door, know the world. Without peering out the window, see the way of heaven. The farther one goes, the less one knows. Therefore, the sage knows without traveling, sees without looking, and achieves without acting, doing, and especially striving. You don't have to go to the Holy Land to become enlightened, or sit under a tree, or live in a cave up in the Andes to become enlightened, or use your to-do list to become successful. You don't have to look outside of yourself for accomplishments and wisdom, because it is all within you. Yes, I understand you want to have allies in your life. You want to have teachings in your life. You come here to receive inspiration and tools. I get that. But you are open to it because you are revealing the divine in you. And in revealing the divine in you and focusing on being, you bring forth into your life that inspiration. You don't even need to seek it. It seeks you. Before you go anywhere or look at anything every day, complete the connection to your true self in here. Do it without acting out here. Do it by acting within, just being and listening. With that as your focus, all else will just fall into place. Declutter. Thank you so much. Namaste. And now I'd like you to watch this video on how you can support the New Thought Spiritual Center every week. Let us place our hands on our hearts and together declare our love offering blessing. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless.
It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you for your blessed love offerings.
And so as we near the end of our celebration this morning, Steve's going to run the production credits, let you know who's helped us musically, who's helped us in the videos, et cetera, that help make our Sunday celebration what it is. I want to thank you all for joining us this morning. Of course, I want to thank Cressa McElhaney for joining us and inspiring us and reading our affirmation, our affirmative incantation so beautifully like she does. Steve Apperson for that great new song. He's going to put together an album of all these great New Thought songs that he has written for the world, and we appreciate him so much. And he, as you'll see in the credits, is who directs our broadcast every Sunday. Thank you all so much. Let us, before we step into our final song, and I'll tell you a little bit about it, and then I'll go into a spiritual mind treatment, and then we'll pop straight into the song. So the song that we're going to close our celebration with this morning is from the musical Golden Rainbow. Not a musical you've probably heard of too often. It was written for and starred Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet. I believe it was in the 60s. And it was written by a gentleman named Walter Marks. And there was a song or two that became very well known. And I'm going to close with a version of it that probably is the most well known from Sammy Davis Jr. And I know some people might think that, oh, really? You're going to play a Sammy Davis Jr. song? Listen to the words. That's what's most important about this. You can watch it if you want, but the most important thing is to listen to these words. They cap off the story that we were telling today about decluttering, about throwing away our to-do lists, or at least not having them be important until we get here every single day. So let's take a deep breath together. And know that in this one mind, in this one moment, we reveal the divinity that is here with us, that has created us, that inspires us, that informs us of everything we need to be informed. We unite with that right now, intentionally, purposefully. It is there, it is our birthright, but we step into this moment revealing it right now. Knowing as the sun shines, as the earth revolves, we too revolve around the Big Bang. We too revolve around the luminosity of the divine, the power and presence that brings forth, that manifests into our lives that which we have decided to declare. It's not part of a list, it's part of our being. We have decided in our being, these magnificent things will come forth in our experience. We have decided in our being that inspiration will be revealed to us, that the actions required will be revealed to us here and now. Through that divine love, that divine force, that divine intelligence and wisdom that surrounds us, that is within us, that reveals itself in us. We radiate this love, we radiate this wisdom, and we do it before anything. Right here, right now. We are focused, we are grateful, we are appreciative, and we are in power. With these words, I release this knowing into the universe that says yes. It brings forth everything we need to know, hear, and act upon. That is the greatest list. That is number one at all times. And we have accomplished that right here and now. As together we say, and so it is. Once again, have a fabulous week, my friends. My blessed ones. Namaste.
Whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, whether I find a place in this world or never belong, I gotta be me. I gotta be me. What else can I be but what I am? I want to live, not merely survive. And I can't give up this dream of life that keeps me alive. I gotta be me. I gotta be me. The dream that I see makes me what I am. That faraway prize, the world of success, is waiting for me. If I heed the call, I won't settle down or settle for less. As long as there's a chance that I can have it all, I'll go it alone. That's how it must be. I can't be right for somebody else if I'm not right for me. I gotta be free. I gotta be free. Daring to try to do it or die. I gotta be me. I'll go it alone. That's how it must be. I can't be right for somebody else if I'm not right for me. I gotta be free. I just gotta be free. Daring to try to